While the markets are doing very well today, buoyed by a lot of quarterly updates both at banks and NBFCs, let's take the discussion forward on NBFCs then. There are certain select NBFCs in the country which are actually taking the help of technology to disrupt the space and really grow the company much faster than the system. At the same time, having a very firm grip on risks. So technology is enabling such companies to be much more efficient than the system and also clock higher growth. One such company, which is also using technology as a competitive advantage, is Ugro. Ugro Capital MD, Mr. Shachindra Nath, is joining us today. Sachin, very good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us. Today, we are speaking after a 4 years gap. I remember when you had just taken over a company and then converted it into Gro Capital, and you really built the company ground up in the last 4 years. We'll come to the technology part in a moment, the new app launch which you are talking about. But I want to understand in a gist the elements you put together in these 4 years that the company has come at this stage, because I'm observing a lot of positive news flow right now.
Yes, so I think so. It is we are technically a startup in a listed world. This was never experimented, never tried. In 2000, July 2018, I took over a small listed NBFC and raised roughly 950 crore of equity capital. Uh, but incidentally, as it may happen that since the entire lending universe have never been the same, because as soon as I raised capital, after that September ILFS happened, then DHFL happened, Yes Bank happened, then COVID happened. But my Ugro's conviction of building India's largest small business financing platform backed by data and technology has remained very, very intact. And over a period of these 5 difficult years, we have built a 6,300 200 crore of asset book. We have built the entire data stack around lending through GST, banking bureau, our sector focus approach, and more importantly, lending for NBFCs is dramatically changing from an on-balance sheet activity to an off-balance sheet activity, because the partnership between banks and NBFC is the future. And I'm very happy and feel very proud that over a period of last 2.5 years, we are India's largest co-lending partners for banks when it comes to MSME financing. So, in most difficult time, I think the great businesses get created in difficult times, and we are one such example of that.
Sachinath, I want to understand how you are approaching business from here on. Talk to us about the new app and how different and how will it will enable the company for growth going forward.
Yeah, so this app is an extension of what we have been doing for last 5 years. We say ourselves that we are a data tech company. The reason why we have said that you have seen a decade of consumer financing business like Bajaj and others, who on the back of massive bureau data and their own loan data have been able to create an algorithm, analytical tool to underwrite credit. We believe that with the advent of GST and digitization of banking and population of bureau, you can actually come to the assessment of small businesses in the same way that you do it for consumer. When you walk into a Chroma store, you can buy a fridge in 5 minutes on credit. But SME, when he's getting an order of 10 lakh rupees, don't get a credit of 7 lakh rupees, on an instant basis. But that is now changing big time. Now, and we have done that. We have proven that our portfolio quality is superior to the market, our assessment turnaround time. But all of this was very inward focus. What we realized is a big gap for especially the small businesses, the small merchants, that they need instant credit and for very short term period. Think of a small retail store who's buying material in the morning and he will sell the material by evening, and he can pay back. But at the point when he's buying the material, he needs credit. And that is what GrowX says. GrowX uses our data analytical prowess and created a user interface where India's first credit platform on UPI. You download the app, you get an immediate limit loaded onto the app, and through the app itself, you can pay to anyone on a QR code. And when you receive the money back, you can pay it back. So if you use money for a day, you'll be charged interest for one day. If you use money for 7 days, you'll be charged interest on 7 days. So I think so for that segment of large merchant base, this innovation is really path breaking, and I'm hoping that others also adopt to it as soon as possible.
Understanding. Your commentary clearly pretty interesting. The stock is also gaining good 4% in today's session. This commentary, when we speak about slightly longer term vision of that management, by these elements of growth which you're putting together, 1% share in the SME space, market share, 20,000 crore AUM is what also you're setting a goal on. How would be the profitability profile of the company? Because I'm sure this technology angle would also bring in a lot of efficiencies running the company as well. Growth much more efficiently. So your profitability profile also will have an upward bias. Can you show some more light on that?
Of course. So I think so. One of the thing, and obviously not to the liking of public market, given that we had the power of capital, we had the conviction, we have invested very heavily in our OpEx infrastructure. So to give you an example, on March of 2020, this company had 120 people with six location, and 3 people in tech and 2 people in data analytics. March 2022, we had 1800 people, 100 location, 200 people in data analytics and technology. So we took this early call saying that build, during the period of all through the stress and when the businesses were not happening, build massive infrastructure. And that's why you see that from 850 crore first year, 1350 crore next second year, third year we were at 3000 crore, and fourth year we are at 6300 crore. Our March was 605 crore of gross disbursement. So now we have taken the conscious call that now the entire OpEx is built. We don't need to incrementally for the year do that anymore. So AUM would touch roughly around 10 to 11,000 odd crore, and profitability from the current year of roughly around 75 odd crore should triple for the next year. Because ultimately lending businesses and as a listed business, capital is the raw material, and capital comes on the basis of a very healthy financial metrics and profile. So this year we are focused on delivering at least 10 to 12% of ROE, 3.5% of ROA, and so that the base of that can grow us exponentially in 2024-25.
Understanding. Very good. Wonderful chatting with you, Shachindra Nath ji, and great sharing the ingredients which you are putting together to build this business, and also giving us a flavor what lies ahead for shareholders and viewers who are watching this commentary.